You want to rock, paper, scissors? Who goes first? Hang on.
Yep.
Let's do it. Rock, paper, scissors. Who intros it? Ready? Ah, dang it. Oh, you both did scissors, both did paper. Okay, ready? One, two,
three. Ha! All right.
Yes.
So
rock
you win.
to your
Does that mean
scissors.
you get to intro, or do I have to intro?
No, you have to intro. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Go for
how's it going? Oh, wait, sorry. You want a pregnant pause before that? Pause. So, how's it going?
That was this whole build up of like us back and forth, and then like we rock, paper, scissors, tie it, and how's it going? I'm doing okay. It has been. It feels like it has been a little while. How are you doing?
Emotionally fantastic. Physically, I've been better. How's that?
You look a little bit beaten up there, buddy.
Yeah. I injured my knee, so it's almost healed, and I've had like a cold, goopy, snotty mess for the last 4 or 5 days, and I just got pink eye a couple days ago. Yeah, it's been physically difficult, but just got back from a trip going out to the East Coast, PEI mostly, but did a little bit of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, well, and that was fantastic. So that was really great. Yeah,
nice,
pretty good.
Nice.
You?
Lots of baseball this summer. Coached 2 teams. Daughter was on a third. We had in the heat of the summer, we had one night in the whole week of 7 days. We had one night that we didn't have a baseball thing going on. So
that's a lot of baseball.
It was a lot of baseball. And it's funny because now it's been over for like a week and a half or something. Just had the last tournament actually yesterday, and but most of it's been over for a week and a half, and it's kind of like I kind of miss it. And I'm also like, where do I put all my baseball stuff now? Because
why are we playing? Yeah, it's a weird change when you do stuff like that. But
yeah,
but it was a good season.
Good season.
Your kids had fun.
Yep,
excellent.
For sure. Do you want to
hear
intro
the Jays
it?
Are doing well too.
Yeah, the Jays are doing awesome. So it's great.
I know. You can tell I'm a huge baseball fan.
Yes,
I like it. I just don't follow it. Do you have a libation for the evening?
I do. I have to toast your East Coast trip. I have a little Signal Hill whiskey, Canadian from the Newfoundland.
Coming from the Newfoundland. I am actually drinking one that I brought back from, it was New Brunswick, this brewery. There's an extra large axe in New Brunswick, in Nagawick, New Brunswick. And just down the road from the very large axe is the Big Axe Brewing Company. And the best part is they've got some great names. And this one is Lizzie Borden Red. And you're looking at me like you don't get that.
The name's familiar.
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she looked at what she'd done, she gave her father 41.
Yep.
I'm like, come on, which is awesome. Yeah. So it's a Lizzie Borden Red.
Nice.
Yeah. So there we go.
Nice. So now that we're like 5 minutes into this podcast, I thought I would introduce ourselves and tell you what we're doing. Because if you've made it this far,
our 6 visitors know who, or sorry, our 6 listeners know who we are by now. Come on.
100%, our 6 loyal listeners totally know who we are. But for the one person who's joining us on the new one, my name's Andrew. I'm a blacksmith, and I am Deer Run Forge. And we brothers, and we're not actual brothers.
You think you get good at this explanation?
You'd think.
You know, we're brothers, but we're not brothers. We're like
very well. You continue it there, bro.
We are brothers by choice, not by blood. And then we picked up. We were brothers by choice before we got into metalwork, and so the smithing just came after the brothers part, which is why it's brothers and smithing, not smithing and brothers.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you have a nugget for tonight?
Oh yes, I do have a nugget. Actually, over the summer, I learned to knit.
Ooh.
And not saying I'm proficient at it, not saying that, but I have found it to be a stress relieving thing that I can just, especially after a baseball game coaching and like other coaches are being less than agreeable and you kind of have to be there for your team and like you come home and you're like, "Arr!" I'd sit there and knit, stress knit. And that was kind of, you can maybe see in my stitches which were good games and which were not, but yeah, no, I learned to knit and it's actually kind of
So
soothing
have
and
you made
relaxing.
anything else other than a dishcloth?
I have made a very wonky dishcloth.
Nice. Actually, I did a bit of knitting this. It is quite fun.
Mhm.
So I do enjoy it. Good nugget. Well, I am Kipling. I am the tinsmith, coppersmith of our Smithing and Brothers duo. And my nugget is I have been to every province in Canada. I
Really?
haven't done the territories yet.
Hmm.
That's the next one. But I figured that would be apropos considering I've just come back from the East Coast trip. Now, I didn't do any new provinces for myself. There were 3 new provinces for my kids that they hadn't been to yet. But actually, the last province on the checklist was Newfoundland, which is where you and I went a number of years ago.
Cool.
So that's my
That
nugget.
a number of years ago.
We're old.
Do you know how many numbers that was a year ago?
It was 2003.
Yeah, it was
That's
a while
22
ago.
years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
22 years. Really? It's that long? No. Really? Yeah, we're old.
Yep, yep.
But I still remember the Green Gardens Trail.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
There's some aggravating, extraordinary uh, memories there for sure. In the in this whole brothers thing, we challenge each other to make something new, and we've been doing it for like a while. We make a podcast, we put it up online and everything. In case you didn't know, we're doing a podcast. Anyway,
So, what was the last project we did?
we did sharks for Shark Week. It was a frame, had to be framed. Damn it. And I put mine behind a shadow box. I made some wire shark, put it behind a light box with the wavy things behind it. You made.
I did a pride shark. So I made a rainbow looking shark using anodized aluminum wire and then put it into a picture frame with some copper seaweed and wavy things in it. It was pretty cool.
And I beat you.
Oh, yes. Yes, you did. Yours was really cool looking, especially with the light. Looked fantastic. Loved it. I like mine too, though.
I
And I just got
loved.
to say that, especially after the kerfuffle of the one before about having all these things that were non-metal, you went and built a wooden box and bought a LED changing light and put some plexiglass in there and a couple little wire figures.
Right, right. Wire figures. A couple
Your
little
shark
wire
was
figures.
a little bit of bent wire.
Yours was just a lot of bent wire.
I know. I don't like, but yeah, you could have made yours out of like 3 paper clips.
I knew 3 paper clips. It's a lot bigger than that. I don't deny that mine had a light feature and had a whole frame that I had built and stuff. Didn't just reuse one and whatever. But that was not the challenge. And I did approve the light with you before we posted and everything.
Oh,
So
100%. I was just pointing out after the kerfuffle over the garden feature.
I'm just
Um,
pointing it out to our listeners that I had approved all this. This was
it was
above
approved.
board.
It
This
was
was
approved. It was a valid win. Um, yeah, absolutely.
twisted some paper clips into a shark. Someone's not bitter at all. So my
No,
opinion of yours,
what did you use? It wasn't galvanized, was it? It was fencing wire.
it was
What was the
fencing wire,
galvanized
yeah.
yours?
You know,
But
so my opinion of yours was your pride shark as a pride shark was super cool, like the little like everything, and then the frame and the seaweed with a shark was cool. And I know it was, to me it was like 2 in 1, and like I don't know if it was
had you
for
separated
me.
them out? And yeah,
Yeah, if you just put another like repoussage shark in there, just a little dish in and stuff, and some like whatever on them, and then you had the pride shark over here as a something else. I
as a
think you
different
could have,
project.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think I could have taken it because I like, especially with the way that your funky LED worked behind it to give it that image of that illusion of motion. But I do agree that I think the two didn't mesh as well as they could. I still like it,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't disagree with your commentary. But it was very fun to do, and it was a neat little challenge to figure out how to do that wire wrapping and keep it all set up nicely. So I enjoyed the challenge, and yeah, at the last market, I actually had someone who was looked like they were seriously eyeing it for a little bit. They didn't purchase it, but it was considered. So it can't be that bad.
Yeah, the pride shark itself. How long is the actual shark? Because I haven't seen it in person yet.
I think the actual shark would be about 10 inches.
Okay, so he's not small.
No, no, no.
So could you do the same technique on something small?
Oh yeah.
Like I'm just
I,
wondering, like if you even took like we're always like we bought pride pins and stuff to wear for the markets and stuff to show our support and everything. And I was like, if you wrapped, just a piece of tin or something like that with the different colors of wire, could you make little pride button pin type of things or animals and stuff?
you probably could. It was a tedious process. Not gonna
Right.
lie. I would have to play around with it and refine that process. But it definitely, a lot of people do stuff like that. I think part of it is because the wire, like I was gluing down the wire to keep it in its shape. It's not like wrapped all the way around,
Right.
so the back does not have that coloring on it because of the way it was designed. So there was definitely a slow, tedious part because I couldn't create it and then glue the whole thing flat. You had to sort of glue it as it was going.
Right.
Um, so I would definitely have redefine the process a little bit. But yeah, there's some potential there, and I have lots of colored wire now. I now have my whole set of rainbow wires, and actually, I believe I was looking at. I think I have all the colors to do the new all-inclusive flag. So
Ooh,
with
fun.
the pink, the light blue, the white, the brown, and black. So yeah,
Cool.
so I can make some stuff that way too. So no, that was quite fun.
Cool. Cool.
But I still lost, which brings us to a where we're tied again at 22-22.
Wow.
So 22-22 and four ties. So there you go, 48 challenges.
Well done, sir. And what's the next one? What are we on to now?
And so getting posted this week, we are doing a thermometer was the challenge. We figured it was a good hot summer, good summer theme, a thermometer. So we had to take a store-bought thermometer and take the glass piece out of it that because we can't obviously make the alcohol or mercury thingy. And we had to take it out and we had to create a new backing that was a fun display thing. And the only caveats that we had was it had to be accurately marked so that you could tell the temperature with.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it could be freestanding, it could be wall mounted, it could be massive, it could be small. It doesn't matter. It had to, obviously fit with the thermometer. Actually, the first time I went into the dollar store looking for a thermometer, I swear, like the thermometer that I found, it was only like $2, but it was a good 16 inches long. I'm like, that's a lot of metal to make a backing to that. So I chose not to get that one.
Yep.
So how did it go for you?
I had a hard time trying to decide what. So I was trying to come up with a backing that would, like as we know, the steel that I'm working with provides a lot of structure. So it's kind of like it could be freestanding. And I was like, that would be cool to have. No one does a freestanding thermometer, so I was like, that would be cool. And I was trying to figure out what would not naturally be like tall and skinny like a thermometer. So I was thinking like a tall ship, like a sailing ship, or
That'd be cool.
Yeah, like, something like that. And I had a couple ideas, and tall ship was the one that stuck out in my head. I'm like, that would be so cool. It's the thermometer piece is the mast, right? But the gradients and the actual temperatures on it would take up so much space on the ship that the ship would be lost because you, and like the
Yeah.
rigging and stuff, it would get so kerfluffled in all of those gradients, and I just couldn't wrap my head around how you would separate the mast of the ship from the gradients from the ship itself, which is why I guess thermometers are the way they are, which is typically a backer plate and a that glass grade thing on it, right? So
It's true. It's very true.
so
Yeah.
I didn't want to just do just a piece of metal, forge a piece of metal that's the same size and then mount the glass on it. I was like, I want it to be something cool that I wouldn't normally think of, and there was a lot of back and forth and ideas, and I
So what'd you
settled
settle
on
on?
I settled on a flower. And I settled on a flower because, well, we were camping because we went camping, our families together went camping. While we were camping, I think somebody mentioned, or on the way up or back, I don't, it might have even been you, said, what about using the leaves as the gradients? And I was like, yeah, but it would look stupid because the leaves would have to be like evenly spaced along the stem. And then I said, well, so I started sketching it out and laying it out full scale, and said, no, it doesn't look as stupid as a ship with gradients and stuff down the mast. So that's
Fair.
what I went with. That's what I went with as a flower, and as a different way to challenge myself. I decided to do like a daisy composite type flower
With a whole pile of little petals.
with a whole pile of little petals. Yeah. So that new shear that I talked about cuts that 1/4 inch strip of metal. And I cut them all into, I don't know, about inch and a half things, rounded them over, tapered them, and then took the back of an elevator bolt and very carefully welded like 40 of them on.
Nice.
Um, yeah. And then
And
put
for those
the,
of you who are following along, the shear that you talked about, you have to listen to the previous podcast to figure out what it is.
yes.
See, look at that, sending people to other episodes. Haha.
So all of this meant that I had these composite flower heads, probably 4.5 inches across in the top, and we found the thermometers. You found them at Dollarama, or no, sorry, Dollar Tree,
Dollar
Dollar Tree,
Tree.
because the ones I found were originally like almost encased in plastic, like they'd been super
Oh,
glued onto,
yeah.
so there was no prying it apart. So I actually was like, the first one I found before you told me about them, I was heating up the plastic because the plastic would kind of like let go of the glue, and I got it half of the way off, and then of course as soon as you let go of the heat, the plastic stops moving. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of doing this like dance of trying not to burn the plastic and trying not to kill the thermometer. And of course the thermometer's going up and up and up as I'm doing this. And like the third or fourth time I hit the heat to it, it actually exploded. The glass part of the thermometer. I was like, I didn't know that they could do that.
Ah,
Um,
this is why we say. Well, this is why you wear safety glasses almost all the time.
100%. And I was wearing safety glasses, and I did the like, am I bleeding? Am I cut? Am I like, yeah, that was an interesting one. And then you found the ones at Dollar Tree that were literally just had like a little piece of plastic.
A little
Uh,
rubber doohickey that went through the back and held it on. It's
yeah.
perfect because
So
then you
I
can reuse it.
100%, and that's what I did. I just welded two tabs onto the side of, or onto the front of the flower. Used the same little rubber dewies through those.
Yeah.
Some hand filing, and then stamping all the leaves and everything. So it came out pretty neat. It's a freestanding. You could put it in a plant pot, or
Oh, it's got like a stabby on the bottom that you can stab
yeah,
it into
yeah,
something.
yeah. So you could be in a
Oh,
plant pot or in your garden, or I just drilled a hole in a piece of wood, and it can be a freestanding thing on your thing. So
very nice. So, are you happy with it?
I am. I don't think it's ultimately super uh functional, but what I'm happy about it with it is I've never seen anything like it. Like it's not something that you're like, oh yeah, I see those all the
On
time.
the, that isn't necessarily a good statement, but yeah.
It's well, it is, isn't it? Isn't because I don't know when you know how when you walk through thrift stores or secondhand
Yeah.
places, flea markets, all that shit, you
Oh, dude, let's try to be clean. You are the only one who has sworn on this podcast, and that's number 3.
no.
Yeah.
Why you point it out? I'm gonna have to click the button. I could go back and like edit
No,
it.
no, 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 no.
Dang.
3.
Trying to be okay. So anyway, you see all this stuff. Um, if you're gonna let it slide, I'm gonna let it slip more. Anyway, and it's just like they have like $2 on a candle holder that's all scroll work, and I look at it and I go, if I heat that up and hit it like 3 more times, it would be mint. And then it's like, somebody, whoever put that together, put it together as a mass produced item and didn't put the extra
Absolutely.
time in and stuff. And they have it for $3, and people think that it's like, would see what I would make and go, why isn't it $3? And I don't know.
No, that's fair.
It's kind of one of those like, tin buckets that people have, and like, it's just one of those like.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you
So I
mass
didn't want it
produce
to
it.
be one of those
No, it
mass
is very
produced things.
different. No, here's my question for you, because you did show it, like people couldn't see it, but the leaves are coming straight out of the sides, right? Why wouldn't you do a bit of organic, curling with them? Because where they
Because
join will be the marker point, right?
Yeah, but I wanted that to be clear that this is a
Uh,
gradient. Like it,
that's
and I
fair.
didn't, and I ultimately don't like it. It's almost lost on you that it's a thermometer. Sorry, you can't see it because it's in a light, but it's almost lost on you that it is a thermometer when you first look at it. It's just a big
Yeah, no, it doesn't
metal
jump out, right?
flower, and then you look at the leaves and you go, that's stupid. Why would you do the leaves like that? And then you kind of look at it closer and you see that there is that thermometer piece on the front of it, and the leaves have the numbered stamps and stuff on them. You
Yeah.
go, oh. And then you look at it and you go, oh, look at that, it's actually correct. Looking at it, it's about 23, 24 down here.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
It looks cool, and I like the flower on the top, and you've done a good job with making it very daisy-like. So, no, good on you.
How about yourself?
For me, again, spent a lot of time thinking about stuff, and we were, you know, jawing back and forth about different ideas. And at one point, we talked about an octopus. I'm like, hey, that would be a great idea. Have an octopus, and the arms are coming up, and they're actually holding the thermometer, and then each arm could have a different gradient on it. But I just couldn't make that design work. Like I tried it sketching up, but I couldn't figure out how it wouldn't look a bit silly. And so I ended up, as I was thinking about it, thinking about temperature, and I think you and I have talked about it. But my favorite expression about temperature is it's cold enough to freeze the balls off it's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey, which is an old sailing term. If you're a sailor at all, a brass monkey was the uh, tray that the cannonballs sat on. And when the temperatures got cold, the brass shrunk and the cannonballs would fall off. Hence the expression. But I love it because I spent one season working as a topman on a tall ship in Pennetank machine called the HMS Tecumseh. So that just kept rolling around in my head. Okay, can I include that? Can I include that? Like, hey, what wouldn't it be neat and fun if I looked up, see if I could find more expressions and sort of link them to temperatures. Now, I have made up what temperature they are because like there's nowhere that I've ever found that the temperature that the balls fall off a brass monkey is minus 32. No idea. But I did look around and I found a whole bunch of different expressions for hot and cold. And then what I did is I made them into thought bubbles or speech bubbles, I guess, not thought bubbles. And then each speech bubble comes down and points to the part like the right temperature. And so like my cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey is minus 10 degrees, and then the speech bubble points to minus 10. And I have everything from hell freezes over, which is the very bottom one. It's actually pointing to the little red blob at the bottom. Um, you know, and one of my favorites is near the very top, like 50 degrees Celsius. The sun woke up early and chose violence today, which again is one that I really like. But all of them, like either they're ones that you and I have used, like it's a bit nipply out. Um, you and I have used that a lot. Two ones that I've just found looking up. The other one that I'd never heard, which I really like. So hot you're shucking popcorn, which I really quite enjoy. So yeah, so it's a little like the backing is brass and then it has the copper speech bubbles pointing to all of the temperatures. So yeah,
How
that's what
many
it's at.
thermometers did you break making
Just
yours?
one, just one. I bought two, knowing that I'd probably break one, and the brass plate has an indent that will hold the thermometer in the right spot. But you had to get both rubberized clips in it, and there was just enough pressure bending it up that I'd almost gotten it in, and there was too much pressure in it, and it snapped. But the second one, I was much more careful and got it in nicely. So I was super
Nice.
excited. But yeah, so I'm actually quite happy with it. I think when it comes to the voting online, the problem with mine is you don't get it unless you can actually read the blurbs. And I don't
Yeah.
know how well the picture, like I'll have a video that sort of zooms around so you can see them and zooms back out. Um, whereas yours is quite attractive just sitting there. So
Yeah, but if it says thermometer, this is my question, like because I was taking pictures and video of it tonight, to post and everything like that. My question is, as a thermometer, like mine only reads thermometer if you kind of do, like you kind of do that like lean in squint thing to it. Other than that, it just reads odd
yeah,
sunflower thing. So like if it's a question of from a distance which one's prettier, 100% mine wins. But as a thermometer, if they actually read the question that we post in our Instagram stories, this is which is your favorite thermometer, and you look at the two and you go, oh, which, I don't know, maybe it takes
yeah,
more time and a pause. But I think if somebody was to take the time and a pause, like in a live thing, which we could take these ones to market, that would be a fun one for
yeah.
this.
I
um
think live, I think mine should win.
yeah,
I
I
really do.
think I also think yours would sell a lot quicker. Like if you could probably produce a few of those and they would sell because
I think these, especially like this is good cottage chic because really no one uses thermometers anymore.
no.
You've got your phone, you look up what's the temperature going to be. This is kind of at the cottage, it's on the wall, or at the hunt camp, it's on the wall to make people laugh.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's 100%. I could see it being on the back porch of my camp. Like I want it to put on the back porch of my camp, and then when you go out to go to the washroom, you come back in and be like, "Ooh, it's a bit nipply out."
there you
Like
go.
it would
There you go.
be
75 bucks, it's yours.
75 bucks. I'll trade you. I got one for you. Yeah. So I think in a live thing, yours would do it would set like if it was a live. We sometimes put these up live at our markets, and you get a point for selling it, and you get a point for the live
The
votes. I
online
think
vote. And
yeah, I think online. You're right. I think I might have a little bit of an advantage right now, but uh, yeah, I would be scared if we were going into it as a live one. I think I would have to do a lot of marketing PR on mine and be like, "But have you ever seen one?"
Fair enough. Well, as I suspect we'll have it live at least one market. We frequently go through a couple because when
Yep.
we are at a live market, they are for sale, and oftentimes one of ours sells, and then we have to put a different competition up. But with that being said, these ones are going to be up on Instagram. Vote for your favorite on. Sorry, Gesundheit.
Thanks.
If you didn't hear that, Andrew sneezed. Or at least I think it was a sneeze.
Yeah, it was
Um,
holding back a sneeze.
Wow. But yeah, it's going to be posted on this upcoming Thursday, which is August 28th. So go check out, preferably Brothers in Smithing on Instagram and vote for your favorite. But you can also visit Tapley Tinsmith and do you run Forge, and then you can vote 3 times for me, which is great. So.
And we do post in our stories on those Instagrams too. You could actually look at our, what are those? Those are story thingies, the bubbles in our profiles, but you can go back and kind of see a little bit of the building process and stuff sometimes to these things as well. So kind of an interesting thing. You can follow along live with us on Instagram that way.
Which is always fun to do. As we're getting better, or you're always good at posting stuff. I'm terrible at it, so I got to get better. Getting better. Slowly. I'm an old dog. New tricks are hard.
You slight, like, it's got me by a couple of years.
Yeah, I know. Some days I feel older, especially when I got my gimpy knee and my runny eye and my gravelly throat. Yes. Yep. So come and vote on Thursday. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. You know what's distracting me earlier as you were chatting? You had only one sleeve rolled up, so it looked like you were trying to be cool and show off your tattoo. I'm like, what are you doing? You've now rolled down your sleeve, so you look back.
It's just a little warm. I don't know.
Yeah, but just your right side is warm.
And no one cares what I look like. They can't see anything. I've been messing with my T-shirt this whole time.
I know.
Which I think if somebody was watching, it would be yeah. I think I was doing this, scratching my arm while I have just not that it can matter to anybody else. I have a little anvil. It's a little what is this? 11 kilo, about 22 pound little anvil I got, and it's this perfect armrest for doing this. So I've been leaning on it. I put my head on it at one point. It's just a nice cute little drink holder for me. So, as blacksmiths do, anybody who's a blacksmith knows what I'm talking about.
Once you start collecting anvils, you can't use them. Also, they can be leaning posts and side tables and footrests and door jambs. And
this is my downstairs little one.
See, perfect. Is it time to do an eggel?
Yeah, do your eggel.
Okay. Well, because I started off the podcast with a wonderful beer, Lizzie Borden, and then you didn't know the nursery rhyme. What is your favorite nursery rhyme?
Favorite nursery rhyme? I don't know. Can't think of very many nursery rhymes. I'm going to go with Little Miss Muffet because I like the idea of a tuffet. And then, people learn about curds and whey. And then, it's fairly wholesome as opposed to, little Jack Horner who stuck in his thumb and plum and all, oddness of that. Or people dying.
Georgie Porgy who, kissed the girls and made them cry.
Yeah, that seems a little, or Jack and Jill who break their crowns and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go Little Miss Muffet. I also think that it would make a cute little stool bench thing, here is the place that Miss Muffet sat her tuffet or something like that.
My only issue, as a naturalist, is it portrays spiders in a bad light. The poor, often maligned spider.
Okay.
Spider was just coming down to check out the curds and whey. Maybe you wanted to have a little. Spiders only have a liquid diet, so maybe they're just drinking up the whey.
That's Miss Muffet's problem. Maybe she just needed to attend an interpretive program about spiders that could better educate her.
That is quite possible.
I'm going to make an Instagram reel that says, Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, in her curds and whey. Along came a spider and sat him beside it and frightened Miss Muffet away. All the way to Brothers and Smitherd podcast.
Yeah. Ooh, very smooth. Nice.
Potter.
Segue. Boom. Oh, okay, Miss Muffet. Not a bad choice. I'm a bit partial to the Lizzie Borden one because I'm currently drinking the Lizzie Borden red. Although my daughter came home from school singing that the other day, about 6 months ago. I'm like, really? They're still singing, Lizzie Borden, and then she's like, is it a real story? I'm like, yes, of course it is. It's from my child. It has to be a real story. So I had to look it up. And here you go. Fun fact: it is a real story.
Really?
Lizzie Borden was accused of murdering her mother, and I believe it was her stepfather, not her real father. And she was acquitted.
Hmm.
So she apparently, according to the law, she did not hit her mother with an axe 40 times and her father 41 times, but it is based on a true story.
Hmm.
My personal favorite, just because it's just as macabre as that one, is a ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. And again, for those of you who are unfamiliar with that one, what it's about,
It's the plague, right?
it's about the Black Plague.
Yeah.
You know, ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, keeping the smell away. The coil having the flowers, because everybody is smelling of death and grossness. Ashes, ashes. Of course, they burned all the bodies. We all fall down. You're dead. Excellent, great, fun, child-friendly stuff.
Yep. So actually, recently my kids went to the dentist, but I showed up at 3 o'clock. I was a little late. I was supposed to be there at 2:30.
Ooh, nice.
2:30. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
too pretty. Very
Yeah.
nice. Bravo. I don't know if I have a dad joke right now. I'm sorry. I'm slowing down on the job.
uh, okay. So I don't have any shop woes and wonders because I've really only made this flour in the last 2 months because it's been so busy and everything. So unless you have anything, I have a question for you.
Ooh, all right, I'm ready for an answer.
Okay, so the pieces that you make, okay, we're not talking about like test pieces and things like that. I'm talking about pieces that are kind of, you make this one and it's a learning process or something like that, and it's not really up to what you would want to sell at the market, right? But it's together and it's functional and it's a thing, right? So you getting it's
Okay.
kind of like
I
your
see where you,
seconds, I guess, but not like they're not seconds. They're not misprints or whatever.
yeah.
They're just not they're not A line stuff. They're B line stuff, right? What do you do with them?
Well,
Because
a
because
very
yeah.
simple answer for you. I don't make beeline stuff.
Oh,
Everything I make is A line.
baloney. That was a good answer, though. That was a good answer.
um, what do you do with the stuff that is stuff that you make not quite good enough? That, or at least, sometimes I still bring it to market. To be honest, because I have found that even if I don't think it's quite good enough, apparently other people do. So I do occasionally bring my beeline stuff to market. I have been known to keep it around the house, or you know, uh, family members make a comment about, oh, "That's really nice." I'm like, "Here, do you want it?"
Yeah.
Done that a couple of times. Um, then depending on like how beeline, if it gets like getting down towards sea line, sometimes it'll get repurposed into something else. Good example is like the uh, Wild City. That's what it is. The Wild City sculpture. The original tree piece. I was cutting it and doing, and it just wasn't going to work. And that original tree piece actually became the seaweed in the frame shark.
Cool.
It just had the right sort of work for it, and then with a little bit of doctoring and altering it, it worked out quite well. So that's generally, I think, what happens with a lot of my stuff. So what do you do with it?
Well, some things are easier for me than others. So, like, I mean, I've made lots and lots and lots of hooks, and sometimes a hook doesn't sell, or it's just an early hook or something like that, and you look at it and you go, what was I on when I made that? Like that's like just not
Yep.
what my quality is today. well, it's easy enough for me to throw it in the forge and actually, redo the
Mhm.
scroll on it and redo it and then be like, oh yeah, there it's right there. It just needed an extra heat. Andrew 3 years ago didn't know how to do that process that Andrew today does. So I can reforge some of the stuff. But I ask because I have a really bad tendency of being like, it's savable. And instead of just letting it go and throwing it in a scrap pile, I have a really bad habit of, you know, let's say it takes me an hour to put an A-line flower together. My test one is kind of a B-line one, and I'll take like 3 hours to try to fix the stupid one that I should have just thrown out
Mhm.
and made another good one and waste all that material as a learning process. Um, I have a really bad habit of trying to save them and spending more time on them and then I'm still not happy with it because I can
Still
see
doesn't
all the
quite do, yeah.
scratches and it's just not there. I'm like, I really should just throw this out and start again. But I'm like,
And
yeah, but another if I filed this or welded this or did
little
this or
bit,
hit this again,
can I fix it?
can I
And the
fix it?
answer is no.
But then again, I've some of them you bring to markets and some of them you sell, but then it's
Yeah.
sitting beside a flower, right? You have because they're both flowers, they're both sitting beside each other, and one you have whatever your $55 on, and the other one is the same $55, and you go, I'm just going to hide this one for now until the good one
That
sells,
one
and then
goes, and then the other one's out. I get it, and I know I've been there where you're like, oh, I just need to tweak it a little bit and be better a little bit. And every time I try doing that, it just doesn't work. It gets worse, and you're like, and eventually, yeah, you have to cut it up and use whatever you can for something else, and again, use it for scrap. In my case, I can also cut it up and melt it down and recast it as
yep.
well. But yeah, it does happen. It is an important skill to learn to when to like, you know what, this piece is done.
And I'm still learning that skill. So,
But
yep.
but I also think there's value in spending the time to try to fix something because you're learning some skills and some techniques to be able to do that for minor fixes that need to be done. Right?
Knowing again, it's that whole knowing when is enough that you can,
When
you're
is the
you're
line?
yeah, where's the line? I'm fixing a sinking boat, or ooh, I'm making progress type of idea. And right now my biggest thing, like this flower would have taken me half the amount of time if I didn't have to clean up my welds as much. If I
Mm.
could, uh make them cleaner. And it's kind of one of these like catch 22s that I'm getting better at welding and it's less cleanup. So I'm doing more complicated things like attaching 45 little pieces of metal to a backside of a bolt and not making it look all batty fanged. Uh,
Oh, nicely done.
uh, but also by doing that, it's the first one I did. It's like, oh, I need to weld the first 10 on and then wire wheel it and weld the next 10 on because I
And
can't get to those other 10 once I weld these, that type of process.
yeah,
It's just like,
no, knowing the process. And I also find that like especially if you're working to fix something or tweaking something after you've put like 2 or 3 hours in it, you're like, well, I really don't want it. Like the longer you work on it, the less likely you're going to throw it out because not like I'm investing so much time in here and
yep,
I don't want to call all those hours a waste of my time.
yep.
Makes it challenging.
And there's nothing more. Here's another slight little nugget I'm just going to tip in here. There's nothing more than I hate than an unfinished project, which is probably why I've completed all these projects over the years. Is as soon as we start something, I by hell or high
Gotta have
water,
something at the end.
I gotta have something at the end.
Yeah.
It's got to finish this, and I'm gonna see it through, sort of thing. So like I have the pieces to three other flowers sitting here right beside me, and I'm like, those are all done by the first market. Like this bugging me that I haven't welded these all together yet. So
I don't know. No, like knock on wood, neither of us have gotten to the end of a challenge and not had a piece to turn in for the challenge.
oh,
We have had no forfeits so far. Again, knock on wood, we'll keep it going. But yeah,
there
I
in
get,
the
I hmm?
early days, I had to call in for some extensions.
Yeah, but we made it through them. So, But I agree. I don't have quite the must be finished anxiety that you have about it, but I have a bunch of projects that like they're always in that they don't get thrown out. They're like, okay, they're just sitting over there, and then when I got a minute, okay, I'll tackle them. Next month, as our teaser for what's coming up next, is a loon themed mirror.
Loon flavored mule.
It's a loon themed mirror.
Oh, mirror. Right. Okay. Cool.
Mirror. Yes, you know that thing that reflects your ugly mug at you.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's going to be a
Interesting.
loon, so so yeah, so and the idea of like the impetus behind this whole one is my sister um, cottage. She has named or themed each of the bedrooms after an animal, and our second official challenge
Something like that.
was for the heron room, and she wanted covered in drawer pulls. And one is a chipmunk room, and when we did the light switch cover plates, I did mine as a pair of chipmunks. So that there. And the next room is a loon room, and so this is going to be something that I can give to my sister, and she can put up the loon mirror. So it has to be a mirror, it has to be hung on the wall, so no hand mirrors, and it has to be a loon theme.
Interesting. Do you have
So
any
yeah,
thoughts? Do you have any yourself?
early thoughts. Definitely thinking, a mirror and a loon. Thinking cutouts maybe. Um,
My thought was uh obviously steel loon, but if I was this is my thinking and thoughts right now, if I blew the outside, which is a process you can do on bare carbon steel. So you use bluing, which is actually creates like a uh, dark blue black oxide layer on the
what
outside,
it creates a blue color and not a red color.
but it's very dark. It's what you find on most gun barrels and most axes and such. And it does help preserve the metal because it creates this oxide layer that you then oil and it doesn't rust. Um, but because it produces this black oxide layer, and then using I don't know how I'm going to do it, but basically removing that probably with like Dremel tools or something like that for the white on the
For the
loon,
what?
for the
Or what about
contrast.
putting a little bit of Vaseline on before you put the bluing on?
Maybe, but I think that might be harder
Yeah,
because
could be.
depending
Yeah.
on how you do the bluing, I don't have
Or even
a
tape.
yeah,
Like put like painter's tape and cut it to the right shapes that you want.
that's a lot of little spots. Like if you
Okay.
look at have you looked at a loon
I
lately?
know, I know. I'm just
That's a
throwing
lot of
ideas.
my other thought was to do a full forging, and each one of those spots to drive a dimple out the one side, so it's a
Hmm.
raised dimple,
Yep.
and then the natural forging process generally creates a darker steel and then grind it back
Right.
flat, and each one of the dimples would be a shinier piece. That's a lot of forging, intricate forging that I'm not
Yeah.
sure is in the cards, but and also forging the black steel, I found that sometimes that like it doesn't produce the black that I want, which is why I was kind of thinking the bluing
Yeah.
it's a
Fair
little
enough.
more controlled process. So
Well, you're gonna have to find like the metal redding to get the eye.
nice.
No, that sounds good. Like, yeah, I think my biggest first step is going out and hitting the secondhand stores like Value Village, Tully's, Vinny, stuff like that, and finding the mirror as the base. And then the ideas like in the shaping will work based on what kind of a mirror. Like, am I going to find an oval mirror or a round mirror, octagon, square? So
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that brings us full start. So
To the end.
yeah,
We need just the same as we need a kind of standard opening, we need a finishing end. Like,
yeah.
you know, finish him. We need a finishing move.
A little bit of
And
Mortal
yes,
Kombat in there.
I totally, just so you guys didn't,
Fatality.
I totally did like the Mortal Kombat like finish him fatality move. Yeah, up
Well,
up down square.
good thing that we've been doing this for over a year now, and we still don't have a standard opening or closing. We are really good.
I think that's our standard. Is we don't have a standard. So it was delightful to chat with you again, sir. I'm looking forward to getting back into it. Getting into market season coming soon. Getting
Yeah, in the
into more
fall.
forging time. Yep.
So, but yeah, looking forward to that. And then we're gonna post on Thursday. So do go visit Brothers and Smithings on Instagram, so that you can vote for mine. And then if you really like mine, you can come and check out Tablets and Smith and vote for mine again, and then go to Deer Run Forge and vote for mine.
If they could see the video, you might get a like sympathy point from like your all of your like ailments right now. But
I know.
I don't think that they need to give you sympathy votes.
I know we're
And
tied right now, although I lost the last one, so the villain can use a little
lost the
handout.
last one.
I know.
Poor pitiful me. I won 3 or 4 in the row before that, but like
3,
poor,
but yes.
yeah, I lost the last one. I
I
need
had
the
some catching up to
votes.
do.
Vote. Actually, quite honestly, we do bug each other a lot because brothers by choice, I guess. If I have to, but we do enjoy the votes. We do this solely for no. People have asked me though, like why we do this, and it's like, cause like we
Why
don't.
not?
There's no prize. There's no other than bragging rights and being able to like make fun of the next person, make fun of the other person on the next podcast. There's no benefit to winning or losing
Not at
other
all.
than the benefit of creating all this stuff. So we do it
And
to show you. We do it so we want to know your opinions, and voting for the other one is not necessarily a loss for each of us. It's more of a vote to see, like, as we see the number of votes going up and up, that's what we want. So just vote for your
absolutely.
favorite, but make sure you vote for the best one, which is mine.
Yes. So we don't care who you vote for, really. We just care that you actually vote. So don't go on and then look at it, but don't vote. Just take a second, poke the screen, and vote for your favorite, which
Mine.
will be mine.
Mine.
Always mine.
Always mine.
But check it out on Thursday, August 28th. And if you're kicking around in Ontario in September and October, we've got a couple of markets that will be showing up, and we'll be talking about that on the next podcast. Awesome. Well,
Sounds
you
good,
have a good
man.
night, sir.
You too.
All right.
We'll
Until
talk to
next time.
you next time. Good luck.
Au
See ya.
revoir.